right. The first match with Belcher was a total treat. The rest of the league was a dumpster fire. Hey, thanks for the 2 months, Angry Penguin. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, Sultai friends, Sultai, Command the Dreadhorde, whatever you want to call it. This archetype was the terror of the format for a little while. A couple of sets ago, and then it kind of fell off. We've got the Explore package down here. Variety of Planeswalkers, couple of Dreadhordes, some Krasis, Elderspells, trophies, variety of good sideboard cards. Let's dive into some matches and see how it goes. Rabid Wallaby. Become four-eyed like me. Yeah, these are actually one of the new sponsors, Felix Grape. So my vision is still somewhere around 2020, but these lenses are blue light filtering to help with eye strain while on the computer. Zikta, thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Was it during Allegiance? Oh yeah, you're right. During guilds it was straight green black, and then Allegiance was Sultai. You're right. The timeline's kind of blurred there. Yeah, no one's been able to give me a compelling reason why I should try other variations of auto chess. Like, what is Riot's version of auto chess doing that's compelling to play over Underlords? Sell me on it. Deck's busted. Did I miss blue-black build? Did it stink to high heaven? We beat 2 other casual decks, and then we lost to 2 good decks. You get to mess around with wine configurations and not play on your phone. Yeah. Yeah, like, there has to be, like, a really big selling point for me to, like, 1, not have native Linux support, and 2, not be able to play on my cell phone. So, like, what you did there, Tron player, was basically just use buzzwords. So, what makes the game goes faster and what makes Underlords more strategic? Can you give me examples? Yeah, of course there's native Linux support for Underlords. Gaben loves the Penguin. Underlords is a Valve title. Alright, so what do I want here? Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. Oh, tell her what you want, what we really, really want. Yeah, Underlords already has a mobile release. I've been playing it at the gym for the last week or so now. What do I want to draw here? It's it's not Hydroid Krasis because this is in play. Yeah, Vraska's probably a good one. Oh, Nissa. Yeah, Nissa's probably better. I would like my world to be shaken. Wow. Wow. All right. Talked me out of the Vraska. Way to be. So, oh, I forgot to. I just clicked through my attack step. I was so tilted I clicked through my attack step. And now they get to impulse again. What a tilt. Great A Pinball, thank you for the 8 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Alright, let's shoot their Azcanta here. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and have her pick back up the Command the Dreadhorde right away.
I follow the tracks of the wise.
It ends at like round 30-ish. Underlords tends to end somewhere between 25 and 40, depending on the game. And we might not get another turn. At least we killed the search for Escanta. Hey, Izzy, welcome. Generally speaking, the way, yeah, as I was gonna say, generally speaking, if multiple players in a game of Underlords are good and understand what's going on, the game is going to be longer. I don't really know what a zombies deck in Standard looks like.
This is all just an illusion. It's how you play the hand you're dealt.
Yeah, most of the brews in this format lose to Esper and lose to Nexus. So I get to get Elderspell back here, right?
The storied past holds our future.
Actually, would I rather do this first? To put the, I think I'm gonna do this to put the counters on her.
I would like to test a new hypothesis with you. No tails should be discarded.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Bob. Fixing Wilderness Reclamation by printing a card that's worse than it, aka Teferi, was bad.
Momentary setback.
Vraska gives us something to do with Arboreal Grazer, which is nice.
From time to time.
Yeah, I bet Wilderness Reclamation will still be pretty obnoxious after rotation happens. What's the comeback mechanic, Tom? How does it work? So, Thragtusk was legal at the same time as Restoration Angel and Unburial Rites, as well as Angel of Serenity. So, to understand the full context of why Thragtusk was miserable, you need to look up Angel of Serenity, Restoration Angel, and Unburial Rites. Because as we frequently talk about on this channel, the power level of Magic cards is contextual to the format in which they are being played.
Just the trick for this.
So cards aren't good or bad in a vacuum. They're good or bad in the context of other things around them in the format. If they don't combo here, we get to pick our Elderspell back up again next turn and try again. Alright, and they hit the Nexus of Fate, so we're probabilistically dead, so I'm going to concede. Yeah, they had a lot of looks there. Yeah, I'm definitely playing an aggro deck on Saturday because if I'm gonna lose, if I'm gonna win or lose, I want it to be quickly so I don't have to deal with the nonsense like what my opponent's doing. This card's not very good here. Hey, War Blazer, thanks for the 14 months, I appreciate it. Yeah, Innistrad RTR Standard is definitely one of my, like, probably top 3. I really liked Guild Standard. I think Guild Standard was my favorite Standard format of all time. Then they released Ravnica Allegiance, and then this latest set, War of the Spark, and it's just, like, steadily, like, rolled solidly downhill. Just, like, worse and worse and worse. I would encourage you to read Vraska, because she in fact cannot kill Wilderness Reclamation regardless of the number of counters she has. For people that are wondering why Vraska didn't kill Wilderness Reclamation. How was Mill? The dumpster fire we expected it to be. Yeah, I'm super excited we're getting a new format in the fall because none of the cards that make for miserable gameplay in this standard format are rotating. So I would not be surprised if like this summer's kind of a crap show and then it stays a crap show in the fall. But thankfully we'll have a new Magic format to play then, so we can just play like Modern in the new format at that point.
Your talents are worth cataloging.
What do I want to get here? I think I'm just doing Nissa again. It's a 3 of.
I think you will find my notes helpful.
Actually, I'm gonna name Assassin's Trophy. That's a 3 of. That's Disruption. Ah, I talked myself out of it. I'm so bad at this. Yeah, I agree with Bob. The actual problem is Wilderness Reclamation. The other Reclamation decks just kill you faster, but they're still miserable to play against and difficult to interact with.
There are so many. Meditate and prepare.
Yeah, I think the new format Twin is just gonna be a lot like Modern is now, where like even when there's one thing that's much better or a couple of things that are better or annoying, not everybody's gonna play those best things because they just like playing with sweet new things. Like basically the non-rotating formats tend to be more casual and less hyper competitive than standard.
So much commotion. Aid your research.
Command the Dreadhorde's a pretty good one to get. Poker face, poker face. Oh my god. I'm so embarrassed. The static text on these Planeswalkers, man. The static text on these Planeswalkers. At some point we'll remember. I mean, if they hit a land, they're just gonna sit here and spin their tires. So they just like get their mass manipulation back now? Is that the plan?
I have learned much from my ancestors. Together, we will prevail. Its pain is our gain. Rise, my elemental friend. I have learned all I can here.
So this is like super scummy. The reason why my opponent moved to their second main phase there is because Arena is bugged and doesn't give you the opportunity to do something before the untap trigger happens. That's why they moved to their second main phase and cast that there. Because it potentially lets them get a trigger before I can destroy it with certain cards. Izzy the Mage, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Awesome, Anaphylactic, and welcome to the Discord. Ghazi, thanks for the 3/4 year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. On July 8th, Wizards will post an announcement saying that there's no changes in all formats, and they will either say nothing about why there's no changes, or they'll make up some kind of shtick about how things are healthy, or how they think things are healthy. Can we use my tier 2 from yesterday to hit concede and go to the next match? Yep. Yeah, or citing data that only they can see. That's a real classic WotC MO. Yeah, Pauper doesn't count. When I say no changes in all formats, I mean formats people play. The professor and I find that statement offensive. I don't know, there's just... Have y'all been on Kickstarter or, like, gone through the board game section recently? If you want to play budget games, like, there are so many good board games where, like, you're not behind at all if you haven't spent a bunch of money. Like, the cost of a budget Magic deck can get you, like, 2 or 3 really good board games. Shadow Real, thank you for the 17 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Dominion's a good one. It's like the OG of deck building games. And I think I have a board games command. If you want my non-sponsored board game recommendations, there they are. Although, if you know any of those companies that want to give me money to promote their games, let them know. I'm more than happy to take it. Ooh, Dice Throne's actually a really good call out. If you're looking for something that's kind of Magic adjacent, Dice Throne's a very good one. I've played that one a few times. Dice Throne is kind of like Magic meets Yahtzee, but in a really good way. The gameplay in Keyforge is very good. Keyforge's gameplay is excellent, I agree. Their distribution model leaves something to be desired in my opinion, but their actual core gameplay is excellent. Alright, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Nissa. We're gonna plus on Overgrown Tomb. I'm gonna click here so I have a stop on my declare attackers. I'm gonna declare these as attackers. Then before they get to block, we can Assassin's Trophy this. And again, in order to cast a spell after you've declared attackers before they get to blockers, you need to put a stop here. So otherwise, Arena jumps past that step automatically. You know, I've not played Root, but you are the second person to recommend it to me recently. Full control mode, yes, would also get you the ability to pause there. Worth noting. I'll have to make sure we give Root a try at Gen Con this year. Speaking of, I don't get to many paper Magic tournaments anymore, but if you are going to be at Gen Con and would like to say hello or get things signed, be sure to drop me a DM and let me know. We can set something up. I'll be around there all weekend. I think we're getting in Wednesday night. Caw. Yeah, I think it was you, Brad. That sounds right.
Behold, nature's true power.
Yeah, the second Nissa should be lethal here. More of your finest 3/3s, please. Thanks, Anaphylactic. Alright, so, Phoenix. I'm glad we stole game 1, because our sideboard is really not particularly good here. I think this is a Dreadhorde out matchup. Moment of Craving is probably fine. Golgari Queen's pretty bad. Maybe I bring in the Duresses just to cut up their critical mass. Could see that being fine. I'll trim a couple Grazers. Stroke's pretty bad. It does, I guess it does stop Finale. Stops Kefnet too. Alright, I've been talked into Stroke. Alright, I've been talked into Stroke. Hey, Lou, thanks for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. How long does a round of Underlords take? So, a game takes somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes if you're doing well. The game is broken up into multiple rounds, though, and each round is 45 seconds. Thereabouts, 45 seconds to a minute. Sand needs a blue source, but it's pretty good otherwise. Yeah, so one of the things that Underlords, I believe they said they're going to do between now and the release is add a turbo mode where you can play faster, so that'll be a good thing to have. Yeah, Underlords is completely free to play. And when I say completely free to play, I mean it doesn't cost you any money to actually play the game. It's not like a card game where, like, it's free to install, but then you need to put money in to play Constructed. Yeah, you actually literally can't give them money yet. That's true. Is it easy to learn? Yeah, it's pretty easy to get into. If you're someone that's interested in checking it out potentially, stick around through the end of today's stream. We're gonna wrap up with it today after these standard decks. And if you can't catch then, it'll be on my YouTube channel as well. Especially the first game that I do for Underlords, I always try to over-explain everything that I'm doing. I wonder if I was supposed to let that resolve and then hostage take her back my Branchwalker. I could see that being the case. I'm gonna gamble here. That could have gone better. Yeah, I think I made a mistake when I stroked this, and I should have just hostage I should have just let it resolve and then hostage taker my Branchwalker, and then I could have stroked this Crackling Drake. It's a pretty big mistake on my part.
The focus, and I have just the trick for this.
Oh, I guess their Phoenix wasn't coming back there, was it? I should have taken a draw step for Nissa. I was thinking their Phoenix was coming back, but Narset was their third spell. We were unlikely to win there, but I should have taken at least a draw for Nissa. These decks usually only run one Beacon Bolt. Yeah, a lot of the time, there's a lot of variation in them, though. There's a lot of little details you can tune and twist in there. When Hostage Taker leaves play, it returns under the owner's control. So if I were to Hostage Taker my creature back from them and they kill the Taker, I still get my Branchwalker back, which is another reason to like Hostage Taker it instead. It's a lot more conservative against their deck full of removal spells. Bad draw. Yeah, so one of the things I hope they add to the UI at some point, Nemesis, since all the info is heads up, I wish there was a tab somewhere that I could click that would show me all of the units that have been bought. It was just like drow, six drows bought, etc. I think that would be an ideal piece of information to have readily available. I don't even know that seeing all the boards at once would be good. I think basically just a stat board that showed all the units bought would be good. I usually don't start worrying about who's bought what until the late game, just because most people's builds, or at least for people who are playing well, your build's going to be pretty fluid until you get into the late game, as you try and figure out exactly what you're drafting. If I get Spell Pierce, I'm going to be really sad I played a tapped land here. Did I play a tapped land? No, I didn't. I'm a liar. Yeah, there is a ranked mode in the game. When it rains, it pours, chat. If we're lucky, maybe we'll find a Hydroid Krasis and get to draw a couple. That's not true, Bob. They've been working on this game for a while, almost certainly. Auto Chess has been out for a little bit. They have a shock here. This exchange doesn't go well for me. If they have an opt, we trade. That's fine. So they Spell Pierce there because it leaves this with a power, so these trade. Hydroid Krasis. We're gonna hang on to that for now. We've drawn 5 spells and 15 cards. Welcome to Magic. Enjoy your stay. If I cast this, do I also have enough mana to play this? So if I play this and tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd have, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I can Nissa. I can Nissa and Hostage Taker here. It's a little unfortunate. Caca! I think that would be a good improvement too, Jeffrey. I don't think they need to make them fully round robin, but I feel like there should be some kind of resistance checker, so like the people that you played more recently are not as likely to play again. Because right now it's fully random, which isn't ideal, I don't think. Thrashing Brontodon is a good Sultai card for playing against red. Oh, sweet. The patch addressed some of that. That's good. Nah, I like how it's different, Nemesis. I think that's fine. I think that part of it's fine. Wow, this is brutal. So they get to Lightning Strike their own Phoenix and Tormenting Voice here, and then both Phoenixes attack me. And Elf King, thank you for the 12 months. It does get you a sword with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. I think we have died. One more shot at a Hydroid Krasis here to maybe do something. We draw Krasis, we can Krasis for 6. I'm all alone, there's no one here beside me. Do 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 do. Oh, Diamond 4 rank floor. Yep. Yep. I guess we're just like never gonna draw a third land and die. How to optimally microwave food. Thank you for the very generous tier 3 Sub-Zero. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, I agree with that sentiment, Bob. Probably gonna play Baby Krasis. Suna Yummy, thank you for the half year. I appreciate it. Do we do it? Who wants to do it, chat? I don't really have other good plays. Do we do it? What are the odds the Grixis deck has a removal spell? What a no gamble, that's what I like to hear. No gamble, no future. No gamble, no future. Land. 5 mana Nicol Bolas. Kill your hostage taker. You have Dread. Oh, they're playing the mid-range princess. Okay. Do it again. There's no chance they have 2 removal spells. I agree, Burgle. I'm glad we're on the same page. Run it back. Run it back. Are we waiting for a new set before we expand the deck queue? No, not really, Zero. Just people don't really submit as many modern decks anymore. And people are really spent on this standard format. This current standard format. This is actually the current deck queue is the smallest my deck queue's been since I started running the deck queue system. It's not the size of my queue, chat. It's how you use it that matters. Don't queue shame me. Can I get like a Mono Chandra new set builder out? Yeah, definitely, Zero. Chandra Tribal. Noted. Does it happen at the end of every block? It happens at the end of every bad format. So like take for example the format where the format at the end of Guilds of Ravnica standard was still great. Yes, I was supposed to block with Hostage Taker and keep my 4/4 in the air. I mean, we were gonna get thieved regardless because they would have attacked with all 3 of them, I think. But yeah, I should have blocked with my thing on the ground for sure. Because the trigger would have killed this. Ooh, that's a good line. I could block with the 1/3 and just not kill it. Yeah, that's totally a line. Oh, look, they're choosing not to attack and giving me a chance. I appreciate being given a chance, opponent. Thank you, Suna. To cheer, you don't need the exclamation point. It's just cheer and then 5,000. Yeah, I really hope on July 8th we see a Teferi ban with the explanation of they don't like the play patterns that it generates. Yeah, we're gonna do sub games in Underlords. We're gonna do sub games for Underlords this afternoon and tomorrow as well. And thanks for the support, Yummy and Mueller. Alright, so they're playing like Grixis stuff. Hostage Taker's not very good here. I know it like eventually worked out there, but it's really not great. So Arboreal Grazer looks bad on the surface, but it blocks Thief of Sanity. It's probably narrow. I'm gonna trim 2. Rest of this seems fine. I'm addicted to Underlords. When you get a feel for it, teach us, Sensei. It's tough out here, and I always open with Axe. Opening with Axe is fine. The big thing you want to take away from getting set up in Underlords is that, like, the first half a dozen units you buy are in no way indicative of what your build's gonna look like, unless you get really lucky and roll a 2-star early. Yeah, and even getting a 2-star unit early doesn't guarantee that you win. It just puts you in an okay spot. I hope they ban Reclamation. I don't think you can ban Teferi without also banning Reclamation. So I hope they ban both. That would be my dream announcement on the 8th. They announced that they're banning both Teferi and Wilderness Reclamation. So, Bob, if they ban Teferi, Bag of Holding's a really good answer to Thought Erasure. And I like, really want to live in a world where we get to play Bag of Holding in a lot of different decks. That card's really sweet. Why would they ban either? Because they're flipping miserable to play against. Teferi Time Raveler is Blood Moon levels miserable, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't think Bob's alone in that. I think if Teferi remains legal going into the next standard format, that a lot of people are going to be off Arena pretty quickly, because it's mostly standard. Die into a 3-2 and a 2-1 with 2 cards in hand. Just Grixis things. Just Grixis things. Alright, let's try another one. See if we can beat something that's not Grixis. Can you explain why Grixis seems to fail? Yeah, because it both lacks the tools to be a good aggressive deck, while simultaneously lacking the appropriate tools you need to be an adequate control deck. So Grixis doesn't have flexible enough answers to continue to be relevant as the game goes long, and it doesn't have the appropriate tools you need to get underneath people to be aggressive. The sweepers being bad is very true. Hey, congrats, Hard Luck. Let's send a message here. I love the sound, like just the small fart of the O3 smack. So, this is less mana efficient than playing 2 of these, but this makes me more likely to hit my land for the turn. I think it's the one I want to play. The sound of a wet paper towel falling to the floor. Alright, well if they Kaya's Wrath me next turn, we can draw a land and then command the Dreadhorde the squad back. Bye, friends. I would like to draw a land, please. Yeah, there's plenty of people that have had fine success with Grixis. There's just a reason why Grixis hasn't been a successful tournament archetype. I should probably count and make sure this isn't lethal. 8, 11. It's actually exactly 18. Is this exactly 18? I think this is exactly 18. Is that exactly 18? It's exactly 18. Alright, let's not take that one. Woohoo! Almost had a disaster. Almost had a disaster. Stopped and counting.
Don't worry, I got you.
My 2 comments about... I almost clicked submit without counting. I really did. My 2 comments about this format that in general that are things I don't really love about it is that the lock pieces kind of make for dry games of Magic, and cards like this and this create games of Magic that are really super swingy in a way that's not good, in my opinion. The games of Magic that they generate are not ones that I think are ideal games. I probably don't want Disdainful Stroke against their Teferi deck, actually. It does make for good TV. It makes it so the advantage bar swings wildly around to the point of why would you even have it. In general, when your commander cards are tier 1, it leads to issues. Yeah, I agree with that. And a big part of why these big swingy cards are playable is because Teferi pushes counterspells out of the format. Okie doke. Not even Sabotage. When's the last time you saw a copy of Absorb? Absorb's like a really good raid on a Magic card that should be playable. Do we think this is a failure of play design? So I have a theory. So a lot of the people that you see on play design are players who have a lot of competitive Magic experience, right? So I would bet that when those people were playtesting and when everyone was playtesting, they were super focused on there being a lot of competitive decks. And if you look at this format and you just look at the raw number of decks, there's a lot of competitive decks in this format. The problem is the play patterns of the most popular decks are what myself and I think many would consider to be not really fun gameplay patterns. Like prison elements aren't super fun, right? So I think they got so caught up in diversity equals good that people forgot to account for the fact that just diversity isn't the only metric you should have for what makes a format good or bad, if that makes sense.
Not prepared for this.
The actual gameplay experience of a lot of the decks, there's a lot of decks that are good and competitive in this format, it's just they generate bad gameplay experiences. In general, I view prison decks in the same way I view things like Nexus of Fate combo. It's really sweet and I think it should exist somewhere in Magic, but it should never be the tier 1 strategy. District is summoning 6, so maybe I should have played it last turn. I mean, attacking Teferi doesn't even really do a whole lot here, because they have Command the Dreadhorde, right? Brewing in this format is difficult to impossible, Socio Penguin. And this is something a lot of people don't get, that from talking to people that play Magic. Brewing is easier when there's less decks that are good. Because when there's less things you need to be fighting against, it gets easier. We're just dead here, right? Let's go to the next one. And like the big takeaway that I like to see, because I like to comment on something Bob said in chat. Designing a set with 20 Planeswalkers seems impossible. I agree. It's a tough task. I don't expect the people designing cards at Wizards of the Coast to like never make a mistake and get everything right. What I do expect and hope is that when we get into these, the gameplay patterns suck. Let's fix it, right? Like, it's fine. Mistakes happen. Game design is hard, etc. Whatever you want to say, but don't let us rot. Don't leave Wilderness Reclamation and Teferi in the format. And take their Duress here. It's not about when you fall off the horse. In fact, and I've said this before regarding Modern. In my opinion, if they don't have to ban things on occasion, that means they're not innovating enough. If you aren't failing, you're not trying hard enough. I think I'm just ditching both of those and digging for lands. Maybe I'm supposed to keep the Duress to tag this, but I just like really want to hit my land drops here. Keep looking for lands. So, what are the odds they just die to these creatures? Probably high. Just play a 3/3. Wrath me, Poppy. Yeah, definitely. Relevant Magic-related links are always welcome in chat. Hard luck. Best Pizzona, thank you for the brand new Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with that. All right, we won 2 in a row. Let's see if we can go. Let's see if we can go for the 3rd here. Get him. I mean, like, if you look back at that match we just won, games 1 and 3, my opponent basically didn't do anything, right? They just kind of rolled over and died. Double crease in the opener kind of sucks. They have 3 lands, though. I think bringing back protection is fine, so long as it's on low power creatures like we're seeing in the core set, and not on really strong creatures. So long as it's used sparingly, it seems like a fine tool to have in their toolbox. Let's just print True Abe. Stop it. I'm gonna not block yet because I want this to protect my Nissa. Perfect. Fun fact. The person who submitted this deck submitted it with 24 lands. This is the 25th land I added. Puppy.
Witness the ties that bind us all. Be wary of the ground you walk on.
Hey, VX, thank you for the brand new Prime support. Or the 6 months of Prime support there. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? Krasis. Krasis. So X is 8 on this guy. Man, Lifebane Zombie and Desecration Demon got me my one and only SCG Invitational top 8. It's good times, good times. That deck was busted. And by busted, I mean it was kind of okay, and I enjoyed playing it. They cast some Knights. Thrashing Brontodon's probably good here, just like a 3-4 that blocks both their 2-drops. Seems good. Hostage Shaker's probably fine. I don't know exactly how big they're going. Fine could be okay. Maybe Elderspell's good, maybe he's not. This probably doesn't block any of their stuff profitably. Turns a Neutron list. Thanks for the support, Mind. No, I've only ever had one time where someone was very upset that I adjusted the mana base in their deck, thankfully. Most people, like, expect me to make changes to their decks. That's part of why they're submitting it, is so I can look at it and put my brain into it for a little while. Most people play too few lands. Yep, I agree. That's my number one change, is cut a spell for at least one land. Sometimes cut 2 spells for 2 lands, depending on what the deck looks like. Especially in formats where utility lands are legal. Love me some utility lands. I think this hand's too slow on the draw. If they just go like 2-drop Knight into history, I'm just gonna get run OVER. Can I have the other hand back? What do you think? Do you think they'll give me the other hand back? Well, it's not great, but it's what we've got. My opponent has mulligan to 4. Fist pump. Does anybody know, is this rank is pretty close to Mythic, right? They're getting there. You think my opponent's probably grinding for Mythic at the end of the month?
This isn't a fight you can win.
That's rank 2.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Worth noting here that if I would have played this Woodland Cemetery tapped on 2, I would have been able to play Jadelight on 3. So maybe played the wrong land on 2 here. Alright, I'm gonna grab a snack.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Wildgrowth Walker's probably fine here. I have to go ahead and, like, do that, plus this next turn, and, like, get myself set up for a Hydroid Krasis for 4.
That's more
I like actually playing a game of Magic here. My opponent started on... Oh, God, I just... Whoopsie poopsie. That's fine. They mulliganed to 4. I wanted to give them a handicap. Hey, no harm, no foul. They'd have contempted it in response anyways. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. This is a no justice stream. Hashtag didn't matter. If they have a removal spell here, this attack goes kind of bad. But I also have Finality to pick my stuff back up, so I think that's fine. No, I wouldn't have gained the life because they would have just
Do you want me to phase you out of
they
time?
would have just killed it in response to the explore trigger, so we wouldn't have gained the life.
Here goes nothing. You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
Issy got it right there. Yep. I respond to deck submissions every evening after I'm done streaming. So, you'll get an email tonight letting you know whether or not I'm willing to play your deck, and if I am, you can send the donation after that. There'll be instructions on how to send the donation to. Most standard decks get accepted, especially around new set release. Like when the new set release is happening, I'm pretty lenient because I want to try a lot of different things, because you never know what could be good or bad.
Power surges through these lands. Rise, my elemental friend.
Nah, Nissa's worth infinite creatures, so like, if they have Wrath there, they have Wrath. It's not really a big deal. Feather, Blue-Black Pirates, and the 3/3 Flash Wolf are things that I will definitely be playing next week. Hey, Phaser. Thanks for the 12 months of support. I have a sword to go with that shield. I appreciate you keeping me around. That's a good draw. It's a weird card to play out into Vraska. The rest of their hand must be pretty bad, huh?
I grow bored with this fight.
That makes sense. Another one of these Grixis mid-range decks. You cannot time yourself out. I am the only one that can time out moderators. Mods cannot time themselves out using the punt command because the bot is also just a moderator. When a mod types exclamation point punt, the bot asks me for help.
Would you like to see
One
what's like
Hydroid
this?
Krasis, please.
To me.
Thank you. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
I'll be back, just like before.
Hey, Fuzzy Jello, not to be confused with Fuzzy Thantos. Thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Have a good one, J-Ray. Yikes. Hey, Metafix, thank you for the Twitch Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, do I want to go that low? So I'm gonna cast this. The question is, do I want to get Dreadhorde? Or do I want to get, like, Assassin's Trophy? I'm gonna plus for Jadelight.
To the library.
Wow, that's unfortunate. The problem with down ticking her is that it means she dies guaranteed to this trigger, whether or not they attack and I block or not. I guess I could have chump bounced here, huh? Maybe down ticking's the line. Well, at least we're not drawing these the next 4 turns. She was kind of like a draw 4 in a roundabout way.
Such violence.
Such violence. Toll of Invasion. Listen. I ain't gotta pay your troll toll. Not doing it. No, sir. This is a good attack on their part. I actually kind of messed up. Maybe I should have animated Mobilized District before my Tamiyo died there. It's a possibility. Holy crap. Ugh. We really milled over 4 lands, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd argue spells are for winners, which we clearly are not at the moment. Now my deck is screwing with me. Now it's just like, oh, you want a spell, huh, Hogland? You want a spell? Have a spell. Look at that, a castable spell. You sure about putting spells in your deck, Jeff? It says it's a spell right in the name, just in case there's any confusion. I would like the record to reflect that the Mobilized District that I added as the extra land was drawn off of a Jadelight Ranger and not a draw step. Nah, I don't really play too much Paper Magic anymore, Big Joe. I appreciate the 3 months of support. Welcome back. Yeah, that card was technically castable. Alright, let's play some Bio-Elves. I'm kinda off what's going on here. Alright. As far as this deck is concerned, I think there's a reason why Command the Dreadhorde kind of fell off. The games we won in there either involved our opponent playing medium-ish decks or them basically just not getting to play Magic. It feels like the amount of value that this deck's able to wrap up in itself is just not good enough. The Esper deck is basically just the better Command the Dreadhorde deck. And they get to play the same over-the-top tool that we do, and they're just better at doing it. We totally need the Salt Elemental